Welcome back to CM World Chatter here in beautiful, the luxurious paradise that is Cleveland, Ohio at Content Marketing World 2018. I am still Jay Acunzo. We haven't been able to solve that problem yet, and I'm still the author of the book Break the Wheel, but most importantly, I have a new person with me, and it's an amazing person. It's Andy Crestodina. Thank you for joining me, Andy.
I'm glad to be here. This is great. I'm honored.
I can't wait to talk to you. So Andy is the co-founder and CMO at Orbit Media, which is a great design studio out of Chicago.
Correct.
Which is a good city. It's no Cleveland, but you know, it's a good city. He's also a part of like the top very small number on every list of everything, influential people, smartest people, most charming, most handsome, all of that, every publication. He's the author of Content Chemistry, which is the illustrated handbook of content marketing. What was illustrated in that?
Diagrams, charts, screenshots, step-by-step processes, examples. It's very visual, which is kind of one of the messages and themes in content marketing, right? Go beyond text.
Sure.
So full color, lots of pictures.
I was hoping for a coloring book, but we can
not a coloring book, but
later.
Next time. Numbers, yeah, it's a good idea.
Next edition. We have something in common here at this event, which is that we both opened the whole event on the main stage.
I know.
Do you remember the moments leading up to their introduction of you and what was going through your mind and or chest?
Well, the guy who preceded me was like the CMO of Lego, so a little pressure,
Nope.
right? Like mega brand guy, and he had gone short. So I was backstage and Joe was there, and it's like, he's like, okay, you ready? I'm like, I guess, yeah. So it was kind of a surreal moment. It's kind of fuzzy in my mind, like exactly what went down and how. I mean, there's a lot of stuff, as you know, backstage. It's a massive production.
Huge production. You don't see most of it. Tip of the iceberg is what the attendees get, and oh my gosh, I learned so much and I appreciate so much more.
Yeah, literally like a behind-the-scenes piece of content for this place would be fascinating because there is a lot of equipment and team, and like so much goes into all of this. I don't know that everyone appreciates it, but it's amazing.
It's very much like any experience or any content. It's when it works well, you sort of don't notice all the parts and pieces that make up the whole. You walk out thinking that was great.
Exactly.
Like, that was a great movie. You don't think, I love the transitions between block A and block B, right? But if something goes wrong, that's what you notice. So, so speaking of things that I think usually go very, very right, your speech this year is on content strategy and SEO.
Yeah.
And I'm curious because we've heard about those phrases so long and you've been giving speeches about them for so many years now. What's changed the most in the things you speak about on stage?
Well, what I did this morning was a presentation that showed the top tactics that I know of, the most important actions that a content marketer can take and a content strategy would include, and then broke it down to the percentage of strategies that would include each of those tactics. So for example, what percentage of content strategies include publishing original research? 47%. What percentage of content strategies include ongoing influencer marketing campaigns? 15%. And when you add up the percentages of all these major tactics and you multiply them together, this is like an SAT question, like 28% times 47% times 15%, only 1%, assuming equal distribution of content tactics across marketing programs, whatever, only 1% statistically of content strategies would include each of these main 4 tactics I included. So basically it's a prescriptive approach to having a strategy that's better than 99% of the other strategies out there by combining these tactics: influencer marketing, publishing original research, offsite PR focused, mission driven. And I thought it was good. It was well received. I mean, it's the highest impact stuff I know.
Yeah.
So that's the best I can do.
Well, I mean, what I love about that is it's the blended approach. It's everyone wants the answer. This channel, this technique, this tactic, whatever. But the answer is always it depends. Which is not a good thing to say on a stage, but it's the true thing that people should say a lot more. And what I love is you just laid out, here's a bunch of different things, and the most successful people do a collection of those things, right? And I imagine there's probably, if you had 4 of those as bar charts, there's probably, you know, you over-index on influencer marketing if you're this kind of business or that kind of business. If you're B2B versus B2C, do you think the mix changes much? Or is it about the team and what you're executing? Like, what determines your ratio of those 4 buckets?
Well, within each channel, there's variations. And so one of the things I talked about was influencer marketing. B2C influencer marketing would more likely focus on celebrities with large audiences, top of funnel content. Because brand awareness is more important to a B2C brand, traditionally. A B2B influencer marketing program might more likely focus on a niche, an expert, someone who's very topical and focused, a little farther down the funnel, middle or bottom of funnel content. So it varies per channel, or per tactic. So influencer marketing might have different kinds of influencers you collaborate with. But your point is really well taken, because what attendees often want, and blog readers and me as a consumer of content often want, is something prescriptive.
Yeah.
But Jay, this is your point. You keep reminding us. It's not prescriptive. Do something different. Inject chaos into your program. Break the mold. Do something unusual, right? Do something unthinkable. And I love that about you. We are, actually, it's so fun seeing you again and always talking to you because I'm mostly like an we had a big conversation a few minutes ago about this. I'm mostly an optimization analytics marketer, like a 10% marketer. You are a big picture, swing for the fences, 10x. I think there are 10x marketers and 10% marketers, and that the world is a combination of both, and I think it's fun to meet people of different types, but...
Yeah, all across this event. Well, first of all, thank you. It's awesome to see you, as always. I always joke that if you put us together, you would have one complete marketer in this whole content marketing thing. We would be so great, so maybe someday we'll work together. When you talked last year, a couple years ago, I've seen you speak so many times, and each time is a treat, but one of the things I always take away is good content is really great content, right? It's like bad content, not worth doing at all. Exactly. Average content, commodity content, just stop doing it. It gets no results. But good content is actually great for your business. What do you mean by that?
Well, I did a slide for this. The results are always on a curve, an exponential curve, where the great stuff gets way better results than the good stuff. And the good stuff gets way better results than the okay stuff. So it's exponential. But effort and input and work and willpower is a linear line. So the idea is to go farther into that piece, go deeper into your research, work harder on promotion than the brands around you, because knowing that moving even a little bit farther over the right moves you way, way up in terms of results. You know, 1% of YouTubers get all the views. 1% of social media pros have all the followers.
Right.
1% of search page, of pages rank on page 1 in Google. So the idea is that results are exponential. So great is so much better than good, that you should really abandon a lot of what you're doing and totally focus on that outperformer and keep working to make that thing even better, because that's where the real fortune and glory is.
But I don't have the time, I don't have the budget. Yes, you do. Stop doing the 5 bad pieces, reinvest that time into the 1 good piece, and there's your time. What is an experiment, a project, something that you either worked or maybe didn't work, but you learned something that you did in the last 6 months that seemed new in your career?
Well, it's not just the last 6 months, but the publishing of original research has been the one thing I found to be like unbelievably effective. That I'm doing again, and I've done more recently in the last 6 months. So produce that original soundbite, be the primary source, find the missing statistic in your industry, the thing that people often talk about.
Can you give an example from your work?
Well, one that I didn't include in the presentation today is how long does a website last? We build websites. What is the interval for redesigns for websites? I got a list from Alexa.com, which is a list of everything, the top 100 websites. I went to a virtual assistant and had them look back at archive.org, the Wayback Machine, to find the interval of redesigns for these sites, and published a statistic that I own. I'm the source of this. Wikipedia links to this article. The average website lifespan is 2 years and 7 months.
Wow.
If you wanted to know, I discovered that through this research and using a virtual assistant.
Right.
So having created that original that soundbite, that statistic has been an amazing piece of content that is super original, that didn't exist before we answered the question. Original research and strong opinion. I feel like those are the two masters. That's what I've learned from you. I've learned so much from Andy Crestodina. For Andy, I'm Jay Akunzo. This is CM World Chatter. Join me in just a few seconds where my guest will be yet another person. Thanks for coming on, Andy. Thanks, Jay.